Welcome to North Star. Martin Fabricating uses a cumulative average time learning curve model to monitor labor cost. Data regarding two recently completed batches of a product that is used in tractor trailer rigs is as follows. Batch number 1 and 2, number of units are given as 50 and 50, and cumulative average hours per unit is mentioned. For the first unit it is 20, for the second unit it is 16. By looking at these two numbers only, we can compute what is the learning curve. What is the formula to calculate learning curve? So learning curve is equals to average labor hours for 2n units, divided by average labor hours for n units. Alright, remember both are average. So for 2 units it is 16 and for 1 unit it is 20. This is the average. Multiplied by 100, we get 80%. So learning curve is given as 80%. So here 20% and 20% is not relevant for the calculation. If the same rate of learning continues for the next several batches produced, which of the following describes 1. the type, that is the degree of learning curve that the firm is experiencing, and the average hours per unit for units included in 201 to 400 range of units produced, that is the last 200 units. Remember, the second part of the question is very tricky. We have got the first part of the question which makes us that the correct answer could be B or C. A and D cannot be the correct answer. Alright. Moreover, you must remember the learning curve ideally should not be less than 50%. Alright. Ideally, whenever you see learning curve, it will always be more than 50%, 90%, 80%, 70%. But less than 50% in ideal situation, learning curve cannot be. Alright. So let's calculate. First, the format. Cumulative units. Cumulative units, first one is how much? So 50 units. Second, it will be 100. From 100, 200. From 200, it will become 400. And we want to know what is the average hours from this 200 to this 400 units. The next is average hours or labor hours per unit. So average labor hours per unit, first one is 20, second is 16, and we know what is the learning curve? 80%. So using calculator, 0.8 into first one, 20 equals 16. We get 16 equals again 12.80 equals again you get 10.24. So is 10.24 the answer? Answer is not at all. 10.24 is not the answer, because it says what is the average labor hours per unit for units included between 201 to 400, but this is for this 400 and this one is for this 200, not for in between these 200 units. Are you able to understand? So remember, 10.24 is not the answer. We need to do further calculation. So if you want to solve this question, you can always say this is not the answer. What is left? This is left. So this has to be the correct answer. But we will also go further and calculate how we will get 7.68. Follow this important point. So the next is cumulative labor hours. How do you calculate? 20 multiplied by 50 directly. 20 multiplied by 50, we get 1000 cumulative. The next one is how much? 16 multiplied by 100, we get 1600. 200 multiplied by 12.8, we get 2560, and last one 10.24 multiplied by 400, we get 4096. Now the last column, very rarely we use it, and here we are going to use it. Incremental hours. All right, incremental hours. We need only incremental between these two. All right, how much will be the incremental? So 4096 minus 2560, incremental is 1536 hours. Means from 200 units, when we make 400 units, the incremental units is 200 and the incremental hours is 1536 hours. I will repeat again, from 200 to 400 when we are jumping, we are making further 200 units. Alright, and how much is further cost when we make 200 units? This is the cost. When we make 400 units, this is the cost, or labor hours. If it is given in dollars, it is cost. If it is given in hours, it becomes labor hours. That is the only difference here. So how much is the incremental labor hours here? Incremental labor hours will become 1536. Alright, so the question is, what is the average hours per unit? Average hours per unit will be incremental hours divided by incremental units. How much is incremental units? 200 units. So 1536 divided by 200 units, you get 7.68. Alright, which is our answer, 7.68. I hope you have understood this. Mark this question very important. Thank you.